It's very cheap, it's very disappointing, it's very devastating, it's very... Do you use very all the time? In this video, I'm going to teach you 7 adverbs, 7 alternatives that you can use instead of very to sound more natural and more advanced. So keep watching to the very end of this video and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hello everyone, I'm Mohsen from English Steps with Mohsen YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to teach you 7 alternatives that you can use instead of very to sound more natural and more advanced in English. The first alternative is highly. You can use highly with words of probability. For example, highly unlikely, highly competitive, highly profitable, highly recommend, highly controversial, highly successful, highly competitive. Let me give you an example. Instead of saying it is very unusual, you can say it is highly unusual. For example, her highly unusual behavior began to worry her parents. Or your colleague calls you to invite you to a dinner out. You say, it is highly unlikely that I will finish my work on time. So, highly likely or highly unlikely. Highly recommend. For example, if you have a backache, I highly recommend that you go swimming. I highly recommend that you go swimming. You can also use extremely instead of highly, except extremely recommend. You cannot say extremely recommend, but you can say extremely controversial, extremely profitable, extremely likely or unlikely, extremely successful. For example, this project will be extremely profitable for the company. Or this project will be highly profitable for the company. Or some people like my teaching. Others don't like my teaching. My teaching is highly controversial. My teaching is highly controversial. He studies at one of the best colleges of the US. He is highly educated. He is highly educated. Okay, now let's get to the second alternative you can use instead of very, and that is absolutely. And if you want to sound slightly more formal, you can also use otherly, absolutely or otherly. For example, he is very stupid, he is absolutely stupid, or I'm tired. I'm very tired. Very tired means exhausted. Exhausted is a strong adjective. You can never say he is very exhausted, but you can say he is absolutely exhausted. He is absolutely exhausted, or he's utterly exhausted. Ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous as an adjective collocates with absolutely or otherly. Otherly ridiculous. Alone, absolutely alone. Impossible, absolutely impossible. So you don't say very impossible, but you can say absolutely impossible. For example, even if you think that I can steal money from you is absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous or utterly ridiculous. The second example, you shouldn't have said that words to him. That sounds absolutely stupid. Number 3, the whole area was utterly devastated after the earthquake. Was utterly devastated after the earthquake. Okay, now let's get to the third alternative for very. Bitterly. For example, very disappointing, bitterly disappointing. Very disappointed, bitterly disappointed. criticize very much, bitterly criticize. Complain, bitterly complain. Cry, bitterly cry. We use bitterly to show the feeling of sadness. Bitterly cry, bitterly complain. So it shows the feeling of sadness. She's very ashamed. She's bitterly ashamed. This movie is very disappointing. This movie is bitterly disappointing. For example, the exam results were bitterly disappointing to the whole class. We all expected to do better on that exam. After he said no, she started to cry bitterly. She started to cry bitterly. My teacher criticized my presentation bitterly. My teacher criticized my presentation bitterly. Everyone in the class was complaining bitterly about the test results. Everyone was complaining bitterly. Everyone was complaining bitterly. The fourth alternative for very is deeply. For example, very ashamed, deeply ashamed. Very shocked, deeply shocked. Very committed, deeply committed. Very affected, deeply affected. Very concerned, deeply concerned. Let me give you examples. That old professor has always been deeply committed to his job. That professor has always been deeply committed to his job. Listen, I'm deeply concerned about how you learn. I'm deeply concerned about how you learn. She felt deeply ashamed when she couldn't do anything. She felt deeply ashamed when she couldn't do anything. She has always been deeply concerned about the environmental issues. She has always been deeply concerned about the environmental issues. Okay, the sixth alternative for very is ridiculously, ridiculously. For example, very expensive, ridiculously expensive. Very cheap, ridiculously cheap. It shows that something is extremely cheap or extremely expensive. Very high, ridiculously high. Very low, ridiculously low. Very small, ridiculously small. Very short, ridiculously short. Very easy, ridiculously easy. For example, everyone in the class got more than 95% correct. The test was ridiculously easy. The test was ridiculously easy. The flight from London to Rome was ridiculously cheap. It costs only $20. It costs only $20, so it was ridiculously cheap. Everyone could afford it. Okay, the last word you can use instead of very, that's strongly, strongly. Strongly oppose, strongly oppose, strongly influence, strongly influence. Strongly suggest, strongly suggest, strongly feel, strongly feel. Strongly support, strongly support. For example, I would strongly recommend that you go there. I would highly recommend that you go there. Remember, you can also use highly before recommend, strongly recommend, or strongly suggest. For example, my father has always strongly supported me. My father has always strongly supported me. Her brother has always been a peace campaigner for life, and he was strongly opposed to war. He was strongly opposed to war. I strongly believe in love at first sight. I strongly believe in love at first sight. What about you? Okay, it was all 7 alternatives you can use instead of very or very much to sound more natural and more advanced in English. Let's review them all. Number 1, highly. Number 2, absolutely or otherly in a more formal way. Number 3, bitterly. 5, deeply. 6, ridiculously, and 7, strongly. Now it's your time to test yourself. So we have a quiz. You have 3 seconds to answer these questions with correct alternatives instead of very. Are you ready? Let's get started. The flight from New York to London was expensive. It was $900. Very good. Ridiculously expensive. Ridiculously expensive means very, very expensive. The exam results were disappointing. Very good. Bitterly disappointing. Bitterly disappointing. Bitterly disappointing means very disappointing. Number 3. When I realized that how much my selfish behavior had upset everyone, I felt ashamed. Very good. Deeply ashamed. Deeply ashamed means very, very ashamed. I would recommend that you all learn a foreign language. Strongly recommend or highly recommend. Both of them are correct. Today, I work really quickly. It is likely that I'll finish work in time. It is highly likely. It is highly likely that I'll finish work in time. This project will be profitable for the company. Will be highly profitable for the company. This project will be highly profitable for the company. The whole area was devastated after the earthquake. Was absolutely devastated or utterly devastated after the earthquake means totally devastated, completely devastated. This class is too small for 20 students. It is small. It is ridiculously small. It is ridiculously small. People were shocked to hear that news. People were deeply shocked to hear that news. People were deeply shocked to hear that news. Okay everyone, thanks for watching this video to the end. I hope you've enjoyed this video. In this lesson, I tried to teach you 7 alternatives you can use instead of very to sound more natural, more professional, and more advanced in English. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to my YouTube channel and try to make a sentence with one of these alternatives in the comment. Next time, goodbye.